Okay. So the first issue is, what are the current issues in public libraries in Nigeria? You can just mention them or list them. So you are free to talk now. Anybody who wants to talk, please raise your physical or virtual hand, and I will recognize us. You can unmute yourself, and then we can have this discussion. Anybody? And then we have somebody who is right in front of me here, who will be taking the time. As soon as our time is up for you, you please help us to yield the floor.
From Maiduguri, sir. Good morning.
Okay.
From Maiduguri.
Always raise your hand first, then we identify you.
Okay.
And then ask you to go ahead. Go ahead. Your name, just say, my name is this from so place, and then you go ahead.
My name is Madachi Mohammed Ali from University of Maiduguri, Ramad Library. Go ahead. Hello? Go ahead. The challenges we are facing here in Maiduguri is concerning the academics librarian and non-academics librarians. Go ahead. Hello.
That's okay. Let me define what we are looking at today. We are looking at public librarianship.
Okay.
University of Maiduguri is academic librarians.
Academic, yes.
So
yes.
We're looking at public libraries in Nigeria. That's the focus for this session.
Yes.
Any other person? Thank you very much. Any other person? I think people are waiting for somebody to talk. The chairman of the public library session, so you have to talk if your people are not talking. Yes, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hello. Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello. Yes. I think the issues are quite replete. We have so many issues beleaguering the public libraries in Nigeria. One of these is funding. Funding is one of these issues. Secondly, the host institutions, especially the governments, they are not giving public library the attention they deserve. In most of the budgetary provisions, public libraries are not always considered. In the scheme of things, public libraries are not put in the front burners in issues of budget, even while it is said that every government in Nigeria should budget a sizable amount for education. I think it used to be 20%, I can't remember, but at least sizable portion of every government budgetary allocation ought to be 20% for education. Even why this is so, within the education ministry, very little attention is paid to the library and its budget. Even while there are budgets for libraries, even the mini school budget, the release of the funds is another thing. You might have a very good budget, but at the end of the day, funds are not released to these libraries. The third thing I want to look at is, the third thing I want to look at is training. Most of the public librarians hardly go for trainings. They are not trained. There's no capacity building for them. And of course, most of these public librarians just see the opportunity as maybe a meal ticket. They don't improve themselves, and neither is the government ready to train. So that is one of the that is another point. Then another issue again is the decay of infrastructure all over the country. I've had I have good record.
Chairman. Just wait a little. We can still come back to you. I just wanted you to start the discussion.
I can hear you,
so that we can hear others as well. We've noted fundraising, funding issues. Government's really not paying attention to libraries, even when funds are there. At the end, you discover that the funds are not disbursed. Training is an issue, no capacity building. Okay, yes, I can see Oshogbo. Please unmute yourself and let's hear you. Mr. Abitoye.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. My own name is Ibitoye Samuel Olukayode.
You're welcome,
I work
sir.
with Uni Osun Teaching Hospital Medical Library, Osun State. The earlier speaker have mentioned 2 out of the 3 things that I would have loved to mention: the funding and the interest. The last one I wanted to add is the leadership of the Nigerian Library Association. I observe it's like we are not doing enough to influence government to pay attention to that our profession. Because if you don't, in Yoruba Palace, only I think I am of the opinion that we are not doing enough to, bring the attention of the government to our profession, so that those things that we are mentioning, they can, like the NMA and the rest, they know how they influence government to, let government do whatever they want. I think if you can still do a bit, we can. Because if we continue to say no funding, we must do something to influence the government. So that is the 3 points that the chairman has already mentioned, the 2 out of the 3 that I've loved to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I can see Victor Adeboyega, my namesake. Yes, raised his hand. Yes, go ahead, Victor.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm a librarian working with Lagos State Library Board. So I'm the librarian, Badagry Divisional Library. So the only thing I noticed is that the chairman have mentioned a lot of it, but one thing I personally noticed is that there is poor management. Even though the government is trying their own part, but I believe whenever they want to do anything pertaining to library, they should allow the professionals, the librarians in charge to take the most lead. But one thing I notice is that whenever it is concerning the government, politics is being involved. So they will want their own people to man the project. And at the end of the whole thing, little will be done, expecting from the government compared to what should be delivered to the masses. So at the end of the whole thing, they will not give us what is needed to be delivered. And like another thing is that there is no training at all. Okay. I believe
mentioned.
So if they can pay more attention to all the public librarians, funding them on training, it will boost our morals.
Thank you very much.
In the delivering our work, sir.
Thank you very much. Saidat Motolani, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Go ahead. Move close to your phone or.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, go ahead. Your headphone.
My headphone, hold on.
Yes, go ahead now, we can hear you.
I work at the Kwara State Library Board. The Kwara State Library Board is the public library here at the heart of Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. I would agree with everything that has been said by the earlier speakers, but I must say that the key issue that we have in here is our society. I must say the reading culture within our society is not as good. We don't prioritize information, we don't prioritize books. It is important that as librarians, we make our impact to be felt. Okay, as one of the speakers has earlier said, it depends on how you carry your profession, how you see yourself, to determine how people around you will then give you regard. So I feel as librarians, when you see librarians from other parts of the world, the way they carry themselves, the way they talk, the way they want to, do programs, pass on the community. We don't have to wait any government.
It's okay.
We have been.
Thank you very much. Please, once I've not identified you, please don't unmute yourself. Don't unmute yourself if you are not identified. Now that I'm seeing so many hands, please don't let us repeat what has been said before. So thank you, Saidat, from Kwara State Library Board. Thank you. Evangelist, Dr. Ayodele, please go ahead. Let's be quick. Let's be quick. Evangelist Dr. Ayodele, please go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead with Stephen. She's not ready. Stephen, unmute yourself.
Good morning, fellow colleagues. I'm Stephen Amini from Zacchaeus Onumba DBZ Memorial Libraries located in Lagos. It's a non-governmental organizational library established to improve reading.
Please don't introduce your. We are dealing with issues now. Don't begin to tell us about. It's a private library. That's okay for us. Let's quickly go ahead. We have limited time to discuss these issues.
Thank you. It's a special and a public library as well, sir. But what I'm trying to say in essence, yeah, they have repeated, but the only issue I want to bring out here is automation in libraries. There should be a need where automation in public libraries also should be introduced in training so that people would have and a complete knowledge of a way where libraries can be automated. So I'm just trying to bring the training onto the automated level. So
thank you very much.
Bringing the internet and computers into making work of our people easier in the library. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is Evangelist ready now?
Ready.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning once again.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, the area I just want to identify is the area of the poor attitude of members of the public to reading, to the use of the library. In many cases, you discover that the patronage to public libraries is very, very low.
Okay. Somebody has mentioned
that's an area that we need to identify and provide solutions to.
Thank you very much. Efosa, go ahead. Efosa, go ahead. I don't know this lip power. I think if I see the face very well.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I am with you, sir.
Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Recently, I'm in the academic library, in the University Library, but I have taken a closer look at our state library at Edo State Library. One of the major areas they suffer is in the area of staffing. You find a full library being manned with just one librarian, and sometimes assisted by one library officer, and sometimes one or two secretariat staff. That's just all. Branch libraries all over the state are being closed up because of this issue of staffing. So I'd like us to look into that staffing area and issue possible solutions there. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Efosa. Yes, the person with lip power, I can't see the face very well, so I can't identify who is there. Please unmute yourself. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is Mr. Oyadipe, Director of Library Services, Lagos State.
Oh, Mr. Oyadipe, I've been asking after you. How are you?
Good.
Thank you very
Fine,
much
thank
for
you,
joining us.
Yeah, I want us to look at the situations where non-professionals are manning so many libraries in Nigeria. Particularly, we have it in public libraries and we have it even in some secondary school libraries. So I want this forum to provide solutions and come up with reasonable points that will ensure that we have competent librarians to man the libraries in Nigeria, not putting a teacher who doesn't even read librarianship to be in charge of libraries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We're very grateful. Mr. Oyadepo is one of those who organized this meeting. Thank you very much for all your effort and time. The next person is Adekoya Oshukoya. Then we go to Ajayi Ayola. Quickly.
Good morning, sir. Well done. Out of the two things I want to mention, one has been talked about, so I'll only talk about the publicities. To me, a public library, the publicity required is not there for us. I'm from National Library of Nigeria, sir.
Okay,
So
sir.
the publicity, yes, the publicity required is not there. So it should be better if we can look into that, how public library could be more publicized so that the awareness will be there for the public to come and use the library.
Which branch are you, sir?
Oyo State branch, sir.
Okay, Oyo
State branch. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Very grateful.
You are welcome, sir.
All right, Mr. Ajayi or Mrs. Ajayi or Ayola, I'm not sure who the person is.
Mr. Ajayi here, please.
Okay, Mr. Ajayi, over to you.
Yes, Ajayi Ayola is my name. National Library Ogun State Branch, Abeokuta. National Library Ogun State Branch, Abeokuta.
Go ahead, sir.
So, my own is that we said reading culture is dwindling. We all know that we have overflogged that issue. I want us as professional and as public librarian to start incentivizing people who want to read. We have to let's incentivize reading in all ramifications. For example, in our UTME or in our universities, those students that do very well, Nigerian Library Association should do something about encouraging those students that do well. We should look to partner with multinationals so that those ones that do well, we should showcase them in those that do well in the examination, so that we showcase them as a result of reading. So let's incentivize reading in all our states, and let Nigerian Library Association be the prime mover of such thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. American Corner, then we'll go to Mr. Bogbujoko. American Corner, Ibadan. Are you ready? Please, we don't have time, so if you want to. Sorry, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
getting new materials or new books, new published books. Because on look around the library, public library here, even in all the libraries in Nigeria, outdated books, books that are on shelf. So there is difficulty in getting new authors. Authors are publishing every day, almost every day. But to find their books on shelf, on library shelves. So I want to know that if there's anything the government can do in order to eradicate the obsolete, in order to bring the new materials.
It's okay.
That are published every day on shelves. So that's the issue I want us to do.
So the books are outdated, collections are outdated. Thank you very much. Mr. Bogujoko, please unmute yourself. Then we'll go to Dr. Paulina. Mr. Bogujoko, please unmute yourself.
Good morning, Mr. Samuel Eyitayo.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Mr. Bogujoko, retired Deputy Director, Lagos State Library Board. I'm of the opinion that the public library is not adequately funded. We all know that the sole financier of the public libraries in Nigeria is the government. However, government alone cannot do it because the library, as we all know, is capital intensive. There are so many things that goes into the library space. The books, that's the collection, the internet, and the equipment. And so I found out that we need some partnership to be able to deliver, the functions that the board, the library board, public library should be doing in Nigeria. Therefore, it is important that we look for other sources of funding the library. And I could recall that the Abat Macaulay Library, Yaba, and some other ones, two other ones, that's Ilupeju Public Library and Isolo Public Library in Lagos, were, funded. The renovation and the rebuilding of the library.
Mr. Bogujoko, you've already started looking at solutions.
Okay,
we wanted to, first of all, find out the problems, and we're about wrapping that up with Dr. Paulina being the last speaker. So if you have any other issue, they've mentioned the issue of finance. If you have any other issue, then we'll be able to take that. If not, we'll move to Dr. Paulina. When we come to solutions, which is the next section, they will be able to talk a lot about that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Paulina.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Pauline Iwago, Imo State Library Board, Director of Technical Services. I want to talk on standardization. What we have in most public libraries in Nigeria is that ever since staffing up, there is no standard. But I think if we want to get it right, we should think of probably NLA and Librarian Registration Council coming up with a basic standard, a benchmark for all libraries, whereby every state has a minimum level that they must reach before the public library can effectively be accepted as a functional public library, where there will be a benchmark, a basic level of operation, rather than having each state having some places you have librarians manning, some places where you have non-librarians, some states pay what they like and all that. So I am looking at the area of standardization. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Standardization is noted. Now that we have combed everything, Mr. Giwa, you were about to say something when I stopped you. Do you still want to identify any other issue? Please unmute yourself. Yes, go ahead.
I'm Mr. Elemide from the State Library Board. Apart from the challenges faced by public library that have been earlier raised, in addition, I have three quick submissions. One of the issues, especially as regarding the public library, from my own side, has to do with the issue of poor renomination of librarians, especially librarians that are employed in the public library services. And secondly, we have issue of bureaucracy, especially somebody have actually raised the issue of funding. Even when funds are available, we often find it difficult to access even the available fund. And thirdly, with me, I have the issue with non-enforcement of legal mandate, especially when it comes to establishment of school libraries, especially in school, especially when it has to do with the private schools. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very, very much. Do we have any other person who wants to chime in any of the problem? Okay. Mr. Giwa, I have them list. I don't know whether you noted some of the issues, because this is the cross of the matter where we're going to be discussing the solutions that we can prefer. But let me say this, when we're dealing with issues, we're dealing with problems, I just want to guide us. There are some things that are really, there are some issues that are not within our control. And there are some that are within our control. As we discuss the solutions, I want us to be mindful of these two categories. And I want you to look at it this way. If we continue this way, public libraries in Nigeria, the state at which we are right now, I'm telling you, like one of us said, some of our public libraries and branches they are closing them up. And at the end of the day, probably we only have the one at the headquarters. And before you know it, like they did in Edo State during Oshiomhele's time, they said, that administration said it very clearly. They don't have any vision for libraries. In fact, the day the lady told us, I couldn't believe it. And so the library, public library at the time was moribund and dead. In fact, they were about to do whatever to the building. So if public libraries are not rising up in spite of these problems, probably public libraries in Nigeria might be, find themselves in the same place. So as we discuss these problems, I want us to focus more on what we can change in spite of. And why US government is involved in this, we are not, we are talking about government, it's not US government. We are just trying to see areas by which we can help. What sort of training can we bring to the table that will change things? Where can we bring in, if we have access to such resources, what are those resources? We want real answers that we can work with. So that at the end of the day, when we get to the section of action points, they will be able to say, okay, these are things that we really want to do. So as we go to the next session, Dr. Giwa will be helping us to take those issues. The issues listed here are, number one, funding, training, leadership not paying attention. Somebody mentioned automation. Somebody mentioned poor remuneration, bureaucracy. There was problem with publicity, incentivization of reading, poor attitude of the public, collection development being very, 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 very old and outdated. And then we also talked about standardization. We talked about reading culture. We talked about non-professionals taking over our jobs, and then poor management, you know, at all levels. And then, of course, politics coming into the system, especially when projects are being implemented. So what are the solutions? What are practical things we can do that will bring about the change that public libraries in Nigeria can also bubble very well? Let me say this, in the US, public library is still bubbling. In other developed countries, public libraries are still bubbling. By the time we get to solutions, I will share some of these things with us, and then we'll be able to have this discussion. So, Mr. Rufus, over to you as you lead us.
Good morning once again.
Good morning, sir.
This session, we look at we want to identify opportunities and solutions for public libraries in Nigeria. In the last session, we've been able to identify quite a number of problems. In fact, it is quite challenging to have this kind of problems. And the problems are numerous, like I said. One, we had funding, we have training, we have low budgetary provisions, we have leadership problems, automation, and the like. And as Professor Eitayo has rightly put it, we need to look at what are those things that are within our reach, and what are those things that we can change, and what are those things that we cannot change. When we are providing our solutions, we should be able to look at the solutions on the benchmark of what are we capable of addressing ourselves as a public library, and what are those things that are totally outside our reach. So I want to open the floor now for contributions to these issues. If we want to be reminded, we will remind you of most of these problems again: bureaucracy, collection development, poor infrastructure, reading culture, use of non-professionals to man libraries, and then a lot of other collections are outdated collections. So please be mindful of time when you are addressing these issues. And then, like I said, again, do not preoccupy yourselves with problems that we cannot rightly address ourselves. But of course, we can mention them, and we can place them at the doorstep of those we feel should address the problems, especially governments. Thank you. So the floor is open to contributors. Speakers are free to contribute solutions. What is the way forward? We've had the problems. What is the way forward for public libraries in Nigeria? And as Professor has just said, Professor Eitayo has rightly put it, if we just fold our hands, like what we are having in most states, I don't want to be mentioning the states because I have quite a handful of states that even the headquarter libraries, there are hardly up to 5,000 naira to the headquarter library. So if we fold our hands, before we know it, public libraries as we have it will be a thing of the past. So let us start talking. Let's provide solutions. Let's find a way forward to these problems.
Good morning,
hello, everyone.
Good morning. Hello, good morning. Please, okay, thank you. Thank you. Just to give us a leeway in this discussion, if I may chip in that, maybe we'll look at the solution under these three subheadings. We look at the government, we look at self, and also the society. I think maybe that should also help and guide our discussion. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Deborah Mogo. I'm calling from Bonny Island. I would love to talk about self, right? Just like she has already segmented it. So I would love to talk about self, right? What are the things that we can do to enhance our library? Okay, just like every business, right? We need to rebrand. What I mean is, personally, as a librarian, I think that we need to make our library more attractive, right? There are some programs you can do to, first of all, get the youth or the young ones attracted to the library. You can have some programs like for us here, although ours is a young whatever. So, I mean, you can do programs like a book club just to bring the kids or bring the children or the youths together, and enhancing their literacy skills, enhancing their reading skills. Now, the more you bring them to the library, you see that they get attracted to it, and then make the place attractive. Some libraries you go, sometimes there's no light. I mean, you don't need the government to be able to put bulbs there. You don't need government to fix the lighting systems. If you're passionate about what you do, you would definitely want to put the place in order. You would not have to wait for the government to treat your home. I mean, that's your working space. So everyone should take responsibility for the little things that you can do. Little things by cleaning up the place. Little things by arranging the books. When the books are not in order, how would you expect people to come in and just easily pick up books? So I think we ourselves, we need to start the change. The change begins with us. We need to, set the pace right. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, good morning once again. I want to talk on that self again also, but I want to look at it from another perspective. I'm looking at training, the training aspect of it. The last speaker mentioned something that rebranding ourselves. When we look at the society today, especially as a librarian in the public library, is the in thing. So I think that as a librarian in the public library, if we keep waiting for government to sponsor us that time, and we'll not be able to get there. Not only in public libraries, other types of libraries also, they are facing that these days, the race has got paucity of funds. So I want to believe that that's training. That's if we involve ourselves inside what you are doing, especially in the area of IT, this will help the our patron. Another thing I want to say also about service that, if you don't take charge of and you're likely to to get it taken away by another person. In 2009, I went for NLA at Ibadan. During our tour, there's this particular place they took us to. I want to ask a friend of mine who resides in Ibadan to tell me where that library is. The library was established by a former rector of Ibadan, or I mean deputy rector of Ibadan Poly then. When you get there, the man did the library, and I was shocked with what I saw that day. So if we are saying that man had the vision, in Lagos recently we did a book walk. The book walk was organized. Thank God because NLA in Lagos.
Thank you. Can we have other speakers? I have a speaker here from Abeokuta Center who would want to address some of these issues and provide solutions. Thank you.
Yes, I want to talk just to add to the self. We librarians, we don't like coming out of our boxes. We don't even want people to identify us as librarians. Before a change can come up, you have to first come out of your boxes that I am a librarian. You market yourself. When you market yourself, people will want to buy what you are selling. When you rebrand yourself, you package what you have. That's when the place will look attractive. And secondly, I want to talk about our regulatory body, LRCN. Why other libraries, they just keep man by biological science in the desk, manning where a librarian should man. The work of our regulatory body is to go out and checkmate. Thank you so much.
We have other speakers. She talked about regulatory bodies. Our regulatory bodies are not doing enough. They should go out of their comfort zones and checkmate those who are abusing the professions. So can we have other speakers, please?
Maiduguri is there.
Maiduguri, can we hear you? Can we hear you?
Hello. I just want to talk on the issue of the society, the solution that society will provide us in the profession of in the public librarianship aspect. Actually, society have played a very vital role by not going to the library or any checking some other things, you know, about the issue of library. Children are not having that reading culture in order to go. What can we do as librarians in order to bring out such problem into recognition? So I want us to check on the issue of what can we do as librarians in order to bring that society in this aspect. So I want to talk concerning the issue. One, bringing developing the reading culture by making very good awareness concerning what we have in the library. What can we do to offer them to solve their immediate needs? Like when it comes to agriculture, you organize a program such like agricultural program so that it will enhance those people to come, it will motivate them to come to the library. And what of the aspect of children? When we talk about children, then we need to create something that it will bring the attention of children in order to build their reading culture since when they are young. So bringing all these kind of things, organizing such programs, it will bring the society in a recognized librarianship aspect in the public libraries.
Thank you. Specifically, you're talking about creating awareness and providing information in the area of people's needs. And you gave an instance of agriculture and then providing information specific to children. Thank you. Can we have other speakers?
King David. Unmute yourself, King David.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I want to quickly talk on, you know, how we can rescue the public libraries. So the public libraries, they play a crucial role in promoting the education and access to information. So one of the ways we can do this is by collaboration with NGOs and private sectors. This will help to create awareness of the libraries. Then another thing is the community engagement. We can organize events and programs and activities to attract the community to the library, to offer workshops and seminars, you know, book fairs and things like that to encourage the reading culture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Morning, sir. Yeah, I'm a librarian from Lagos State, public library in Lagos State. So one of the solutions I can contribute is that in the issue of training, I believe that most of our senior colleagues are professionals in the job, that the younger ones are coming up. We should rally around. We shouldn't wait for government to bring up money. We can create funds within the public library and then make provision for training, to train other younger ones. There's something like when you do something like on writing, you need to practicalize it, and then the more you practice it, then you get more confidence in the job, so that you can able to pass it to the other ones coming up. So in that aspect of training, when you train more librarians, you'll be able to know the job on the job. That's my contribution.
Steven?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to say 2 points here. On the training, yes, the last speaker just said, for those of us that have knowledge as to how we can train other librarians to be at better services in their various organizations, is if we have those people, the NLA of every chapter can also come together and organize these trainings, and we can have it either maybe in one of the institutions around the area, so that we can all be grounded in these various automation systems in all libraries, and we can come together and have this knowledge to better where we all serve. Then on the society as well, another area came up with bringing in children or pupils or students to create awareness. Yes, every librarian, every library could also come through that hand, bring these solutions in, and at the long run, children begin to acclimatize themselves with the library. They visit the library because automatically coming to the library, they know that this is a library by inviting them, having programs in the library. Even you can bring anybody to the library just to cheer them up, and they find the library attractive for them. They find it attractive for a place to be. And when they close from anywhere they are and actually at their leisures, they begin to have that reading habit, that love for the library. The love for the library first before the love for books. Then we can now.
Thank you. Please, I want to remind us again. Professor Itayo has rightly echoed it that you should not repeat.
Mr. Itayo, not Professor.
Okay, Mr. Itayo. Yes, he has warned that we should not repeat what a speaker has spoken before. So we should limit ourselves to what has not been said, so that we keep to time. I have here with me Mrs. Ewulo from Abeokuta Center. She has 1 or 2 things to share with us.
Good morning, everyone. I want to believe that one of the major solutions to the problem of public library in Nigeria is sensitization of someone around. I want us to look at it from another perspective. Why we as librarians not taking the library down to the grassroots? Enough of calling them. There are many programs that have been organized, even in the state library board here. There was a time that we organized program calling children from all schools in Ogun State. But after that, we have to follow it up. Going to the nursery school, primary school, taking the library to their doorstep, telling them what we have, then continuity. Also, I want to say, in the area of infopreneurship, we always hear entrepreneur, but this time around, we can market our information, the knowledge we have via social media. Even this that we are doing is a kind of infopreneurship, telling people what we have. We have, hardly will you see anybody that doesn't have either Twitter, WhatsApp, and all of that. Let's create awareness about what we have on the social media. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Ewulo, for that contribution. She specifically mentioned following up our programs. Quite a number of public libraries. I want to mention, for example, the Anambra State Public Library has numerous programs for children, for youth and adults. But usually the problem is following up these programs, getting out of the library, out of our comfort zones to meet people. And she also talked about marketing our information, marketing our products. I think they are twin of the same thing. Infopreneurship, she calls it, marketing what we have, taking what we have to other people, not just sitting in the library and waiting for people to come to us. Thank you.
Jaya Yola next. And then we go to Victor Adeboyega.
Thank you, sir. Ajayi Ayola here, National Library Ogun State Branch, Abeokuta. My own suggestion is that as public libraries should try as much as possible to unlock itself from bureaucracy.
How?
Bureaucracy. Now, the supervising ministries, in some cases, are not making them to breathe well. They are not making some public libraries to breathe well. There are, in the world today, the best practice is public-private partnership. Some of these companies or multinationals, they have what we call corporate social responsibility. They have a budget for it. But because of bureaucracy, libraries have been handicapped to access this type of opportunities for them to grow. And meanwhile, we know that library service is a social service. As little as power, we can look at power to power things in the library, even if we are talking of automation. Most library has no electricity. We don't have, because it's expensive. Most of them are owing a lot with disco, so they don't have light. No, and with a generator, fuel is expensive now. So everything. So you go to most libraries, there is no light, and some of the things that can drive traffic to our libraries is as little as people coming even to charge their laptop.
Mr. Ajayi.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on because of our time.
All right.
Let me call from the Abeokuta Center. I want to call Mrs. Williams to make her contributions.
Janet Williams from Abeokuta. I work with Ogun State Internal Revenue Service Library. I want to suggest that, first of all, let the public libraries, let's have a training, a mandatory training for public librarians. The public libraries, they serve the general populace. If their training is recognized, this will have impact in whatever they sell out to the general populace. For instance, I want to use the tax practitioners. They have mandatory training. The mandatory training is accepted that once they go for that training, they have some points which will lift them in subsequent promotions or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Areo Williams, for that contributions. Let's move on. Let's have more participants and speakers.
Oshobo, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Once again, my own name is Samuel Odukayode from USinNigeria Teaching Hospital Medical Library. I want to add, since we have been told not to repeat what others have been said, that the public librarian, we must change our orientation from what it used to be to the modern trend, from analog to the digital age. We really want to drive both the public, even the government, the youth and the public are now being driven by this new development. We must develop ourselves. If we fail to develop ourselves, it may be very, 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 very difficult to drive the public and even the government. Most showcase what we have, even to the government. By that, we begin to get what we are due to have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joyce?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not a librarian, but I love gathering information. That's why I'm here. I don't know if what I'm going to say has been raised because I was bumped out. I'm looking at it from the other side of the fence. I think what we can do, I'm not casting investigations at anyone, but the librarians' attitude towards the public, their attitude, even if I know that a lot of things can be better put, it can be frustrating, but when people come to the library, you see, you need to assist them. You need to make it interesting. You don't make it look like they are disturbing you. I think those are some of the things that can put people off. I remember in our days in the early 80s or 90s, when we used to go to Warri Library, you know, the librarians used to be very helpful and it makes you want to go back there every time. So I think the attitude should also be looked into. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Uju Honora?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm from National Library of Nigeria.
Where?
Lagos, Lagos. Yeah, what I want to say is that we are having lack of fund, which is general. So, but I think that the librarians should seek partnership and collaboration. Once we're able to do that, some of the programs might be done. Probably we'll just need to, provide even if it's the space. So we should try and seek a partnership and collaboration so that some of these issues may be solved. Because if we fold our hands waiting for the government audit, then we might not go anywhere. Thank you.
I want to. Okay.
Over to you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, the chairman of the Ogun State Library Board, Professor Shegun Awolusi. I don't know if he's here. I can see he's here, but I don't know if he can speak to us. He has re-echoed some of these problems and he has given some solutions in the past. Maybe he could share some of this with us. He's here with us. I don't know if he can speak to us now. If you can hear me, maybe
okay. Sorry, sir, we don't know who. Where is Professor, the chairman board of Lagos Ogun State?
Ogun State Library Board.
Where is he?
He's connected. Olusegun Awolusi. He can unmute and speak to us if he can hear us.
Olusegun
Awolusi.
I'm trying to find so that you can say unmute yourself. Don't seem to see it. Anyway, if the person is hearing us, I think, please, you can unmute yourself. Let's proceed.
while we are waiting, if let other speakers, if you have anything to contribute, let us hear you out.
We have Paulina is still there. Dr. Paulina. And then
Yes,
we go to
I'm here. Do I have the floor?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I have had a number of our colleagues talking about the librarian changing his or her attitude. But I also think that attitude is better remuneration. Because if somebody is not paid well, the morale booster is not there. So I think that in as much as NLA has increased our dues to be paid, it should also look into talking to the states to pay better, so that the librarian who has something to go home with, a better package, would inevitably feel encouraged to do better. Thank you.
Oka, unmute yourself quickly. Oka.
Yeah, go ahead. Good morning, Mr. Eyeteye and other librarians and participants. I'm Dr. Nkechi Udeze, former director, Anambra State Library Service. You know, the issue of public library is really pathetic. I worked there for 35 years and have not seen any change. I kept on saying that the issue of public library lies on the director and all the management staff. You know, for public libraries to thrive, they have to be committed. Anybody working in public library to do well must have passion for society. The money there, Dr. Pauline said it, too small. You can't compete with other librarians in academic life. Apart from having passion, anyway, it is passion that will drive you to leave your comfort zone, to go to those community libraries in the interior. I know when I took over, I visited all the libraries in the community. And when we arrived in the community, we asked them, where is their library? Then we asked them, do we have library here? Then I met with the Igwe and the President General of the community. We now talk to them for have ownership of their library. And when they did that, some of them started buying books. When we are doing programs, they collaborate with us. Some of them start saying that they don't even know that adults should benefit from the library. Today, as I'm talking to you, there is a library at the Okologu. They are now rebuilding the library to be a modern library. The library that will attract users, even if you are moving around. Collaboration, passion, and then increase of the salaries of the librarians. That is what we help. And again, government is not including resources, money in their capital budget. This thing is supposed to be every year. They don't do it. Even when it is approved, the money will not be released. And that is really affecting. How can you hold programs? I did it. I held program with my own salary because I have passion. Who will do that? Nobody. So first, changing that perception of that little money they are paying librarians. And then making sure that materials are there. If you visit the library today and you see materials of 1987, will you go there again? No. The academic environment will not accept those materials. So one, passion. Training is okay. But when you train somebody without any passion, they will not go for that. Thank you.
All right. I think Doc Z. Doc Z, please unmute yourself quickly. Oshogbo.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
I'm
morning.
Mrs. Esther Noah from University of Osun Teaching Hospital Medical Library. I just want to advocate to the NLA of Nigeria that maybe all of us librarians can take the public library of Nigeria as our baby, for it not to die, for it not to go to extinction, by advocating to the government or whatever means to create a day in Nigeria for the public library. Because recently you see some people have days of the year that they celebrate different things. We have Children's Day, we have recently we did Drug Day, Infertility Day, to create the awareness. So I think that if we can have a day for public library to create awareness, we can start from there. We can create exciting topics that we can treat that will help public library to people to get aware with public library in Nigeria. Thank you.
I think from here, Stephen Aminechi.
Thank you very much, sir. Lastly, I will say every NLA is in the chapter from state to state should try to bring, because my first word was training and my last is going to be training as well. They should come around and bring trainings. We shouldn't wait for LRT. LRT is the body that sees us through as a profession. So what I'm saying is that every chapter should come together, look for these professionals, so we get trained on being automated and moving our different libraries forward. So that's what I have to say now, sir. Thank you.
Hello?
I'm
the Director State Library Board, Mrs. Adeyeye.
Where?
State, Ado-Ekiti.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. The little contribution I want to make first is that each and every one of us in public libraries know the problem we are facing. Every one of us has similar challenges. Therefore, since our problems are similar, we have to provide the needed solution so as to help each and every one of us. And one of the things that I think we can do is we need political connection. As a director of public library, we have to connect. There are some states, like in Ekiti State, we've seen cases where for a 4-year term of ago, that there was no board for the library board member, no chairman. Even in the last dispensation, they gave us just a chairman, no members. So we have to connect ourselves with the government of the day. We have to look and seek the way we can connect ourselves to this politician. Otherwise, the problem is still revolving year in, year out. Thank you. That's the only thing I want to say.
Mm-hmm. All right, finally, I think we have Adekoya.
Thank you very much, sir. I just want to encourage our people to change our orientation on the issue of that training, because they are saying NLA should try. To me, NLA is trying, because I'm able to be a chairman of the state chapter before. You know, at times we call for a training, even at no cost to any member. We will not see them, even from the public libraries. So I want to encourage us. It's not any trade that we will gain money from our association we should be attending. This side, Oyo State have organized 2 webinars on the use of technology in the registry services. How many people attended? even from the public library. So that's why I want us to change our orientation. We should not be waiting for government. We ourselves, we say any free one, there's not free one, like I said, we should try and attend. We should not be putting everything on our office or our government. But in a nutshell, NLA, both at national and state chapters, some state chapters, they are really trying on the issue of training. So let us embrace it. That is my contribution, sir.
Thank you very much. Doc Z.
Yes, Lucy. Lucy, am I audible?
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, my colleagues, my learned friends, colleagues. My name is Ihoma Chiduzie, National Library of Nigeria. I'm in Imo State branch. Yeah, basically what I have heard all that have been, the solutions that have been proffered by my colleagues. But I just want to add this. Now, I think on the issue of lack of electricity in public libraries, we can actually do well by soliciting for solar panels to be installed in the branches. At least that can help to assuage the issue of lack of electricity in the libraries. Then, secondly, we can do something as little as aesthetics, like making the environment conducive, beautifying the environment, landscaping, planting of flowers, little gardening to beautify the environment, because these things are good on the eyes, easy on the eyes, and can always attract real library users to the library. When we do these little things that we ourselves can, take care of, it goes a long way. Then we can now start asking for funding and the partnership and the collaborations, which also take the library to the next level. Thank you.
Olusegun Awonusi.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Awonusi. I have listened patiently to quite a number of submissions this morning. I'm afraid many of them are not new, but I feel that I will just respond or talk about the areas of governmental involvement. I think the very first thing is that in most cases, government is yet to be really fully convinced that libraries constitute the ground norm of the knowledge economy. If governments buy that, we'll move forward. The second thing is that what are the agencies of government that should function properly? That rests on the constitution of library boards at either the federal or state levels, because they interface directly with the politicians who are in government. And the politicians who are in government, if you like, they come and go. But if you can get people who can interface with them, because the politicians are responsible for appointing these people, then you are likely to get better results. Most state chief executives would explain, of course, even at the federal level, that they have budgetary constraints. We quite understand that. And that's why even when sometimes even the pretend at budgetary level, that is part of it, when it comes to release, it also becomes a problem. And those who are in the helm of supervising the agencies, that is, I refer to the boards, must really go a step further. They in a sense, they should be the cannon fodder between the agencies on the one hand, and also government on the other hand. But they are the people really whose business is to get government convinced. And when government is so convinced, because really it's a system of who you can influence. And then government becomes convinced, then you can have more, you solve the problem of funding, then the agencies then know how to domesticate the fund apparatus and do what they want to do with it. And finally, beyond that is that the use of the PPP as a special purpose vehicle, to me, remains a very, very good and viable alternative. We have seen it in Ogun State, for example. I can give the example of Kuku. Kuku Library in Djibouti, which would compete very well with some state libraries that I've seen. So when we do that, and then we also network with existing tertiary institutions in the state, particularly at the level of automation, then I think we're better off. But as I said, my contributions are at the level of government, and it is a responsibility of those who are in those boards to really interface with government, to prompt government to do more than they're doing now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is Dr. Ajayi there? So before we wrap up, Dr. Giwa, please, do you want to summarize and we go to the action plan now?
Right, we are gradually posting home, and I know we are getting there. Well, a number of solutions have been preferred.
Sorry, Dr. Giwa, I think possibly I should give our own perspective also, so that you can add it to what others have said. All right, very quickly, number one thing, which is what Professor Olusegun Awodisi said, is the fact that librarianship is becoming moribund, and really people do not see our relevance in the lives of people. We are not relevant, especially public libraries. People don't see that relevance. So in terms of solution, number one thing is seek for ways to be relevant. And one of the ways to be very relevant, which is practical, and one person said it, is to aim at meeting the public need. For instance, unemployment is out there. We have retirees who don't know what to do with their lives. I can tell you, all our retirees here, it will tell you that it's a very challenging thing to retire and not know what to do. Public libraries can take up issues like this, get professionals who are going to train them, and some of them are willing to give it pro bono. And at the end of the day, these are training not just for the purpose of training, but purpose of changing behavior, purpose of affecting their lives. If you are able to reach out to unemployed people and they are gaining jobs, and how do you do that also? There are a lot of agencies who are hiring people, Jobberman and all these people, they are all there. They can conduct training services for you. Some of them can do it free of charge. And I want to challenge everybody. We had the same challenge right here about 14 years ago when I got to the position here as the director. I was shocked when I was told that my office was not ready to give me anything until I'm able to prove that we are relevant. I said, they told me, go ahead within so number of months or so, let's see what you can do. We would like you to attract this number of people to be using the American Center. It used to be Information Resource Center then. That was when I started looking at problems, looking at what people are. And one of the things we did was to begin the training on how to use the internet effectively. Initially, there was no curriculum for it, there's nothing, but eventually we started one. And I can assure you that really brought in a lot of people, and it increased up to the point that directors of agencies were coming to that training programs. People were flying in from the east, from the west to come for that training. I was shocked when the professor came all the way from Oka then, that he came for that training, 2-hour training. I said, Prof, and then we're not doing all this virtual thing. He said, look, my brother, forget about that one. I really need this. So when you meet people's needs, you will be relevant. There are so many things. Most of our graduates today, they don't know what soft skills are. Why can't you design training programs to empower these young ones? Start by giving them free services. All you need is just to organize. And in organizing program, there are so many models you can use. And these are some of the things we will be proposing as training for the directors and heads of sections in public libraries that we can work with you. Then secondly, the issue of community. Community in the US owns public libraries. They don't depend on local government. Yes, money will come from there, but communities must see this as their own. It's when they see that they will put in their resources. Let them meet inside your public library. Let them have programs within your public library. Let them tell you the kind of books they want to read. We say, oh, our books are old. With 5,000 naira every month, you can improve your collection. With 10,000 naira, you can improve your library collection. All you need to do is just to do it gradually. And I mean, 5,000 within a community, people will be able to do it if that book will be there and people will have access to it. And if you plan programs around that particular resource, people know somebody is coming, a particular author is coming. And when authors begin to see that you are doing that, they will be tilting towards your side. You say, read, people don't read. People read. We don't even need to do all this reading culture thing. People are reading WhatsApp. A lot of people are reading a lot on WhatsApp. But the question is, are they aware of what we have? The other point, which is the final, okay, let me take one more after this, is the staff engagement. And I thank the persons who have talked about this, that people want to be trained. People like the organization to train them, but I can tell you this, there are training programs that people go to. I have seen one or two of them that I was invited to participate in. And I was told, we are giving you a day and I prepare to give a training for a whole day. On getting there, they said, please, I want you to wrap up by 12 o'clock. And the reason is because people want to travel. I said, no, we're leaving by 4. They said, no, some of them want to travel. But this program is a Thursday program. We still have Friday. They said, no, they want to go back to their, I said, no, we don't do things. I came here, sleep over, in order for me to teach and train people. I am not the one complaining. It's now people who came for the workshop that are saying, please make it short, cut it from 9. Okay, let's start by 10, then you wrap up by 12. I said, sorry. And I told them that will be the last time that I will honor the invitation. Because it shows to me that people really, when you say you are going for this conference, that conference, they are not really interested in the training. They are just interested in the money. And we have to be true to ourselves. If we really want to remain relevant, like one of us said, we have to be passionate. We have to be ready to help. We have to be ready to deliver. But we are not doing that. We're just wasting our time. We're wasting our time. Finally, we're talking about what do you call the NLA doing this, and the chairman of the public library section is right there seated here. He can't do much except you. Every one of us who are public librarians support whatever he's saying. And let me tell you also, there are some things that you can't do without funds. How many of you have paid your dues? Now that even the petrol is very, very, very cheap, as we say. So there has to be so many ways we can work together. And going forward, as we go into the action plan, I want to suggest specifically what training needs do we have, and the ones that we at our level can offer, and working with Mr. Giwa and the committee there, then we can see what we can do. And if we know we cannot, then we can reach out to people and we can continue to do this until our public libraries in Nigeria become better. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We must thank you because without you, this particular program would not have been such a huge success. Let me just look at some of these things. Like I said, most of us are quite familiar with the problems, but the solutions we've had here today are quite new to some of us. starting from the issue of branding, I want to kind of summarize because most of these issues are intertwined. Branding and bringing innovation into the public library is the same thing. Making the library surroundings attractive, inviting, planting flowers and aesthetics. I think this is part of branding and making the library a place that people will want to leave their homes for. And then we talked about capacity building. How? We should be able to take a little out of what we have to train ourselves before we can talk about government training us. And then we talked about regulatory bodies like LRCN. LRCN has quite a number of training for public libraries. And of course, like we mentioned, it depends on how you go, how you see these trainings. So regulatory bodies, NLA is also there. A training is coming up in Akure, but how many of us are willing to attend? These are the issues. Then creating awareness, providing information in the areas of needs of people. Like Prof rightly mentioned, the pensioners are there. There are information you could provide for them in the area of their needs. There are farmers, local people in our community, depending on the peculiarity of that community. As a librarian, you know. I remember we used to, we have something we call community analysis. You need to know the communities where the library is resident. You need to know their area, what is their information needs? What do they really want? If you provide what people want, people will come to you. And then we also prefer solution that border on the area of marketing what we have. Like I said, they are intertwined: branding, marketing, infopreneurship, and then unlocking ourselves from bureaucracy. How? It still borders on self-development. You develop yourself before someone can develop you. As we used to say, you want to lift something, a luggage on your head, you need somebody to help you, but you need to put your hands first. And then, as Professor Segun Awonusi and some other people put it, we need to tap into CSR, corporate social responsibility. Most of these companies have them, but Prof calls it special purpose vehicle. We need to, before you can go to these people, you need to package yourself. You don't just walk up to a company and you say, come and help my library. What are you doing in the library yourself? So we need to know what we are doing before we can, attract patronage. And then developing ourselves. Yes, passion for society. You need to have passion for society. In fact, these things is not just in words. It's the action. Like Dr. Nkechi Udeze of the former director of Anambra State Library Board said, and I've seen her doing these things. It's not just saying it for words. For the number of years she spent in that library, she has demonstrated what can be done to turn even forgotten libraries into useful libraries. And what are these things that you can do? Innovative programs. If you go into the United Nations calendar, nearly every day celebrates something. You can go into these things and you check the programs even for the days, and you pick the one your libraries can accommodate. Some of them you don't need to spend money. All you need to do is tap on your social media and group, and then you are home. For example, in the Ogun State Public Library, all our registered readers are in our own platform, our WhatsApp platform. We communicate them. If we have programs, we communicate them. You can create WhatsApp platforms, create Facebook for your users. Within a day or two, if you have a program and you send it into your platform, they will be with you. If you want them physically to be with you, they will be with you. If you want to send these messages through WhatsApp, it's also possible. Create innovative programs, and then meeting with community heads. I have noticed that apart from the government, the baales, the igwes, the emirs, if we find a way of reaching out to those community heads in the areas where the libraries are located, there's a way we can communicate our needs, communicate our programs to the community through these heads, and they will also collaborate. I want to give an example. The prof mentioned Alhaja Salamatu Kuku Memorial Library. The library was built by an individual, and the KBAC, the Aujale of Ijebuland, provided a 150 kVA generator for the library. So this is because some people in the community, some learned people in the community, not necessarily librarians, network with these people and made it known that what they really need in that community is a library and nothing else. And then we talked about automation. The only problem usually is still funding. Like Professor said, funding is the problem, because you talk about automation, solution, fine, but funding, how do you get these things to your library? Even when you do get the hardware and the software, maintenance is another issue. Then we also talk about library law, public library laws. Most of the public libraries do have laws, but these laws need to be reviewed. Most of the public libraries are still using laws of 1960s, and most of these laws are outdated. And these are the things that, in fact, usually when we make requests to government, they ask us, this request you are making, is it backed by law? By the time you show them the enabling law, they tell you, look, this is outdated. But the question is, we need to move out of our comfort zone. We cannot turn us, if you want to, turn yourself to politician if the need be. You can turn yourself to politician, meet these people, meet the lawmakers, let them know the need for a review of your state public library law. You need to go out and do lobbying. You should lobby. If you write your memos, as we call it in government cycle, you should lobby to get these memos approved for funds. We can't just sit on our comfort zone and continue to cry problems. The solution is that we should move out of our comfort zone. We should lobby. Most librarians are very shy. They don't move. They don't interact with society. They don't interact with government, politicians, and then you don't just expect miracles. Then we also talk about relevance. We have to make ourselves relevant, so that we have to seek so many ways to make ourselves relevant. Like I said, innovative programs, draw the society to the library by creating innovative programs, by making sure that the society know that you are there. Recently I called the librarians in the zonal libraries in Ota, in Ikene. I asked them, how often do you meet with the baales and the community heads when you say your libraries are not patronized, but you don't meet these people? So we need to move out of our comfort zones and meet these people, meet the community heads, talk to them, go to schools, go to principals. Then the issue that Prof raised on the area of engagement, staff engagement, dovetails into what Dr. Nkechi Udeze called being passionate. Most of us are not passionate in what we do. We go to training, workshops without having a purpose for that training. We go there probably for sightseeing, and then we are back. Sometimes some of us just pocket the money and we don't even go. So these are the problems. Even when you have the solution, we also have the problems and the solution within our grasp. So if you want to be trained, are you ready? Readiness, that is the issue. Then we should also learn to follow up. Following up with users of our libraries, knowing those who use our libraries and following up with these users to know exactly their area of needs. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Giwa. We are very, very grateful for that wonderful submission after we have all discussed. The next thing, we will be having Dr. Ajayi. Dr. Ajayi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Dr. Ajayi is going to lead us in the section that talks about action plans. So we want to put all this into action. What are we looking at? What should we do? Let me say it, Dr. Ajayi is the chairman of the chairperson of the Nigerian Library Association, Lagos State chapter. She actually was the brain behind this particular meeting. She was the one that was saying, look, we have to move forward with this. And she kept pushing, and thank you very much. So we're having it today. So let's put the plans together and let's see how we can move this forward. Over to you, Dr. Ajayi.
Thank you very much, sir. And once again, colleagues, good morning. From what we've been saying this morning, talking about problems. We've identified these problems and we're looking at what plan to reach our goal. And the goal is to make public libraries better than what we are having now and to be able to affect our society in providing quality service. I want us to look at the solutions that we prefer. You know, we've talked about training, collaboration, as highlighted by Dr. Giwa, and I want us to talk about how do people achieve this. I actually have some that pointed out from all our discussion. But I want us to please, what do you think and how do you think we can about this, our action plans? What do you think is it? I don't want to jump. I don't want to start saying what should be. I've noted, like I said earlier, but as those concerned, what do you think? Let me just allow maybe one or two persons to start now. If you are not doing anything about this summit, it's as good as not having discuss what you think we can, say to, and how we can go about this. Please, discuss about this before we give our all this. What should be our action plan? The floor is open. Yes, anybody, please. Okay, let me start by saying that from what we've learned today, I think one thing is germane and is key to me, and that is training. We can't shy away from that. We need training. And that should be the first thing that we'll be looking at. If I don't know what I'm going to engage my community with, how will I engage them? If I don't know how to collaborate, how will I go about it? So I want us to look at it that the first thing we should start with as our take home and as our action plan is training. And I think that is key for us to be able to move on. And please don't start panicking, because some of us will be thinking that training, it will cost me a lot. Fine, if it will cost you, I think that there are things that it may cost us. It may cost you your data. It may cost you from giving your office in your state and going to maybe there are any of the American space location in your state. But I think we should try, if that is all that it will cost us to get this training, it's worth it. Because without the training, we cannot move on. So the number one thing that I'm plan is the training. Get the training, which I put here as can be physical and also virtual. Like we are doing this morning, there are many of us on the platform have been attending trainings, even practical trainings online. So we should let that be the first thing that we are looking at in this action plan. Also, I want us to look at as the training is going on, we look at collaboration. Collaboration, how do we collaborate? Training is ongoing, but collaboration with people around us. I'm so surprised seeing American space and our Liberians coming up on this program with their with the pictures of their libraries. I want to challenge us, other public libraries. Let us collaborate with these ones. We'll have a lot to gain from them. Lately, American Space, did a program for teachers and for students. I watched it. I saw it on Facebook, and I saw the program, and I felt that if you cannot do it as a library, you can collaborate with others. So as our training is ongoing, nothing is stopping us after that to move on to collaboration with some of these libraries that are there in quotes. So that will help our work a lot. This should be part of what we are looking at as our action plan, because it's of no use listening to all this and yet nothing is done. I want to see Lagos State Public Library, coming up and collaborating with American Space in Lagos State. What can we do? How can we affect our society, the community where we are? We mentioned community engagement through awareness. That is why, again, I will go back to training and emphasize on this training, why it is important. If you want to create awareness and you don't want to spend money, you must be able to use Canva. You must be able to use some AI tools online, which will help you. But without training, either personal training or group training, we may not be able to achieve all this. Remember, all these awareness posters, to design them, you spend money. And if you don't want to spend money, you need this training. I'm still saying again that training is the number one thing that we must look at here. Then after our training, there should be a feedback. What are we doing with this training? Are we just getting this training without using them? Are we just getting this training without, affecting our community? So there should be a feedback. And the feedback now, I want to take it back. This feedback will come from the heads of libraries, directors of our public libraries. They will be able to, getting the feedback from their branch libraries in their states, to be able to feed us back how far they've gone in the training and the usefulness of this training in their services to the community they are serving. So this feedback is key for us. That is what will encourage us to do more. Again, our staff engagement also. This also will go to director of libraries in our states. How are we engaging our staff? How are we engaging them? The engagement of the staff is key. And you should look at this one as also one of the action plan that we'll be using. If we are not engaging our staff, there is no how we get anything done. whom are you committing anything to his or her hand to do and to deliver? Go and do this. This is what we want to do. Without you, engaging 1, 2, or 3 staff, you may find it very difficult to get results from such. So I want to encourage our leaders in our directors also to engage their staff. It should also be part of the action plan to be able to have quality feedback from our staff, and which will also translate to the effect of the society. So now the director, the sectional head of public libraries in under NLA, I put it to you now that if you are talking about training, how do we start it? Where do we start from? And how do we about? Because from all that we have listed and we have discussed, I discovered that from my own hand, training is the first thing that we need now. So how do we start this? And where do we take it up from? So I want to put it again to the sectional head of the public library, NLA. So please tell us, how do you think we can go about this training for our staff? Thank you. The floor is open.
I can see Mrs. Ola Oton. Ola Oton's virtual hand up.
Okay.
Probably she can mute herself and then make a comment.
All right. I didn't see her.
Mrs. Ola Oton.
Ola Oton, can you please?
Probably
Miss Ola Oton. Miss Ola Oton. All right. Okay. If she's still not, let me call on. Okay. The
Uyo.
American window of Uyo. Can you please unmute and talk? What of American widow of Oka? If you can unmute so that before those ones called earlier will come up to speak. Can you please?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Again, I'm thinking of a way of either NLA, LRCN, directors of public libraries, holding meeting with governors. Because some of them, if I tell you that when I was asking them, this one we say that they give 14,000 to manage a library. What will that do for a month? Some of them are not buying newspapers, although they are online. But there are things that are very, very important. Now, committee engagement. Before I leave office, I did something like committees. All the programs we've integrated into the system and new ones they will integrate. I now said, you are the committee chairman, and that we give them that zeal to work very well. And I gave them that mandate. You people have to maintain this. And that was why, before I left, one of our royal fathers donated 3 cups for competition on our language, as you see, because of what UNESCO said about the extinction of Igbo language. So that holding of meeting with governors, some of them are not interested, because I remember when the first time I went for this meeting with
let's stick to action plans.
That's what I'm saying. Now, those people, some of them don't know anything. Like, we have to go to them. Holding meetings with governors for them to know the right thing to do.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. All right, Ms. Olat, are you there? Uyo?
Yes, I am here.
All right, please, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes.
I want to thank Ajayi for this initiative to help put back public libraries because of relevance. You know, we have been the other time, and I have been a very big advocate of training. You know, when we talk about training, we get funds. How will we raise funds? But I know
training. Some of them can be part of the trainers. For instance, can give awareness to the society, can talk to youths in areas of their disciplines, their aspirations and all that. What I'm thinking now is that we can use some of these. For instance, the medical experts who are retirees in a typical community, nurses, for instance, doctors, pharmacists, would get them. Some of them would volunteer with us. They would gladly, because they long to be utilized. They long to remain relevant. They can be used. They may not want to be paid. If we tell them we lack funds, they may want to do that for us free. So I think we can use them.
Okay, ma'am.
They can give us talks on health issues, the agent information on how to remain healthy, you know. Such information can be given, and society will be very happy that they are able to get this.
Engaging professionals from the society.
Yes, and they'll be willing to give the information free of charge.
Okay, all right. That is in engaging our community.
Yes, engaging the community for the training.
Okay,
And then
that's
also
the action plan.
awareness. You know, society is now frustrated, so to say, in Nigeria. And so if we get this WhatsApp group somebody else talked about, and then begin look at what government is doing and align ourselves with those things. For instance, there are scholarships for students, there are grants, there are loans. Some people need information on this and they lack it because nobody is taking the initiative. So I think the public library can do well by taking the initiative to enlighten, give awareness on such important issues like scholarships.
Let's wrap up for another person.
Scholarships, loans, and grants.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah.
Oshogbo.
So, Oshogbo. Oshogbo.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Funke Kolawole, the State Librarian of Osun State Library Board, Oshogbo. Yeah, I want to thank the organizers of this program. And more importantly, I want to also appreciate those that have spoken earlier. Dr. Taiwo was talking about, she's not talking about action plan now. And thank God for the first speaker that have just spoken, because virtually everything I wanted to talk about has been spoken by her, but then I just want to add a little to it. And that is staff engagement. There are some state libraries that are understaffed. For instance, in Oshogbo, and I want to speak for my own library, grossly understaffed. Now I want to organize a training, I want to organize programs. I'll have to look outside to start sourcing for people to assist me in doing this, which means it's going to cost me money. And a situation where I'm not given anything, there's no money, nothing. I have to do that out of my own purse. So now I just want to quickly advise, and then speaking to all my other colleagues now, that there are times that we want to do things and we are not being encouraged. Don't let us get discouraged because they want to make us irrelevant. We must try as much as possible. We must strive to make ourselves relevant. Try whatever it is you can do. I have been blessed today because at least I've learned quite a lot of things here today. More importantly, on that training, I don't have staff, but then I must get something to do to make my library relevant. So that training aspect, I am going to really go into it. And so I advise others too, to please, let's key into this and make ourselves relevant. Very, very important, because nobody wants to, if I want to talk about library now, most people just don't even want to even associate with us. They just look at you as if you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't know what you're doing. Meanwhile, without us, they can't do anything. But then we still have to make them know that we are there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Mr. Lauton, are you still there? Mr. Lauton? Okay. Adepoju, Folashade Adepoju, can you please have the floor?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, and Taiwo, thank you American Embassy for this opportunity. I just have two things to say. First, yes, we've been having this conversation over and over. The way forward. The way forward is what we're talking about now. My advice is, let us, in our little communities, let us identify the stakeholders. Let us identify those people that have this funding, that are ready to, some people have funding, but because we don't make noise, they may not know where to divert it to. Can we now have, if we are in Ogun State, list those organizations in Ogun State, Lafarge Cement, all those organizations, or even those ones that are making, maybe even if it's popcorn in a large quantity, approach them, talk to them. They can partner with the library. When you have events, they can sponsor. We complain too much of funding. And meanwhile, we're sitting on funds that we don't know. And secondly, ambience. Our library should be beautiful. Because when you want me to come to your library is ugly. When I look at it from outside, I will just pass. I will just sit and pass. How are we carrying ourselves as librarians in these places? Are we carrying our problems on our faces and think people will come in to read our books when you are already sad? As they are coming in, you are not happy. Your environment is not clean. Nobody will come to your library. Let us, in the little we have, let us put the little, beautify it, look for students during break. Let them come out. We can get people that will come and paint for free of charge. If we have money to buy 3 paints or 3 buckets of paint, let us paint it. Let us give our libraries some facelift. People will come in and read. And the last one, issue of seniority in the library is another problem. Some, I don't know, but I've had little encounters in the past. Some directors see staff that have ideas as a threat. Let us start thinking of the profession and not self, because we will all retire someday and the profession will remain behind. But in what state will the profession remain? When you see a vibrant staff bringing idea, forget about the staff. Take the idea that staff is bringing to the table and implement it together. Don't look at your junior staff as a threat. That junior staff will not steal your position. But please, as directors, as leader of the library, please give opportunity to the younger ones below you to express themselves. In expressing themselves, there will be solutions to most of these problems we are facing. Thank you.
Hello. Can I come in?
Okay, thank you very much. My name one more time is Efosa from Igbino University Library.
Please,
again, I want to tell us as public, I don't know if someone said it before, because at some point,
what do you say?
IT and Facebook and social media, we must meet.
Oh. Hello, Mr. Efosa, can't hear you.
Go and meet them where they are. And most of these young people, they are in the social media, they are in Instagram, they are in Facebook, they are in Twitter, they are in different social media platforms. My take is that we do our best to explore this avenue to meet our young users in these different platforms. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope from this, from all that, I'll see call
hello.
I know, please, I will give you the floor. I will give you the floor. Because please hold on. I just want to say this, that as we are bringing our action plan, as we look at it, let us look at how we fix this action plan into the points that I mentioned earlier on. I can see some of us talking about ambient, environment. This is why our collaboration, we can't write it away. We can't just throw it away into the bin. It is important. I know I don't know that ambience is important. For instance, you are telling me this. It's one of the things I should take home. And if possible, get in contact with the person that mentioned that point. So these are the things that we can do. I will not come, none of us will come to your library to be looking at how far have you gone, how far have you gone. The heads of libraries in public libraries will be available to do this, but even the organizers may not be there. But when the training is done and you are keying into all these points mentioned, please take notes and see how you can effect it. Because these are part of the things that we should do, that should act, that should be our own action plan as we make our service better to our society and we make ourselves relevant. All right, next person, please.
Can I just chime in here?
All right, sir.
You know, when we talk about action plans, I think we need to understand what we are saying. Action plans, for instance, for each library should be what are the things that I should do when I live here. For you as a librarian, what are the things that you should do on all these issues we are talking about? Let me give you one or two examples. For instance, we're talking about the public libraries ensuring relevance to public needs. So what are the action plans under that? Number one, you should be able to know what are those needs. So there should be needs assessment in order to identify specific needs of the public users and even your community. Number two, look for people that you can work with, stakeholders, partners that you can work with in order to address those needs. Number three, develop programs and services that addresses those particular needs. And then conduct regular evaluation. So under that one alone, that is what you are planning to do. And so you're able to say these 4 points are the ways that I will be able to ensure relevance to public needs. Let me give you one more example. If you are talking about improving attitude of librarians, which we have mentioned here, number one, what makes that librarian behave the way he's behaving? We've talked about remuneration. We've talked about people coming from outside to take our positions. We first of all have to understand the problem. What are the causative agents of these problems, attitude? Then we go ahead and begin to see whatever needs to be done in terms of training or professional development, or even meet with people at at different levels. We have the board. Those who don't have the board, you have the permanent secretary. Intimate them on some of these things. And then what about incentives? What about recognition programs, awards? I'm telling you, awards do work. All you need is just to have something to tie around them. They will carry around for the next 1 month or two. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
there is this thing they give to our holdies in our church these days, and people feel so big about it. I think it costs like 3,500 or something.
Up to that.
Is like a jar that you put on.
It's not
But they
to
will
that.
say,
It's not to that, sir.
Best librarian of the month. And the person will wear it for the month, everybody will see it, and then the picture will be there. You can just print one picture, which is 200 or 300 naira, glaze it, and at the end of the day, so what I'm saying is, these are some of the point actions that you need to take in order to. So I really want to say we need to put those things down. And those are the things we should be discussing now. In terms of partnership, what partnership are we talking about? Who are these partners? How can we better approach them? For instance, we are ready to collaborate. We don't want to be seen as usurping your functions and responsibilities. We can only do little that we can. If you don't approach us, if you say, no, we don't need us. So at the end of the day, and let me warn you, we don't have money. I'm not saying we have money. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is this, we've done something with people right now. We can do things that will empower you, and do things that we encourage. We can give ideas. Once we are ready to implement some of these things, but you need to have these action plans. And finally, for Mr. Giwa, you and your committee, particularly at the public library section, I think you have a lot of work cut out for you already. And some of these things, we can also work together if you want. And there are a lot of resources that we have in terms of what to do and what not to do that we can introduce to you. and then we can work together. So I want us to stay on action plans. Stories are good, which are wonderful. I have done this, we have done this. We have dealt with solutions. We are now at the realm of what are the things we should do, how many training, what should be the content of that training, who should help us in that training. You know, those are things that we really want, and we're taking notes so that at the end of the day, we will just approach our people and say, okay, we were there, and then we thought we should come into this area, Then NLA, we could approach them, let's work on this, or we should go to this particular organization and let them help us with this area. Those are things that we're talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who is using iPhone?
Hello, it's Mrs. Olauton that is using iPhone.
Okay.
Mrs.
I
Olauton.
All right. Okay. Yes. So you have the.
Okay. Thank you so much, the organizers. This is a very beautiful work that you are doing, because I was also part of the public library system, and I would not want a baby that I started to go into extinct. So I am also thanking Assistant Dean, who is in charge now, for inviting me and giving me awareness of this conference. I have listened to everybody, and my own issue is just to chip in with my own experience on the planning. Like our sister said, we have to look at training. Even training also needs planning. Like our American Embassy doctor there said, planning. Yes, we cannot do anything in life, even personal, without planning. We have to go back with what we have gathered at this conference. Then we sit back and give plan. And then when we plan, we assign time, targets. You know, then you now assign budgets. You know, we in the States, we are fortunate to work with administrators, with the Ministry of Education. You know, you work with budgets, and then you see how visible, based on the finance released to you, either as running costs, either as part of the budget, because every public library submits its own budget and defends at the State House of Assembly. So every public library will know how much was budgeted for workshops and training. There is a place in the recurrent expenditure. I don't know whether it is still happening that we make provision for training. So we can also, you know, push forward to release a little fund for training. And when we are planning and we're pushing for this fund, we know we have to give a report. We have to make every effort to maximize, you know, the training. Then also we talk of monthly targets, we talk of quarterly targets, we talk of yearly targets as part of your plan of activity you draw out every year. Like our organizer at the American Embassy said, everything is passion, is love for the work. And one of us also pointed out that librarians have attitudinal problems. You know, when I joined the library.
Hello, Ma. Attitudinal, we're looking at action plans. I gave an example.
Yes.
What are the plans?
I have mentioned the action plans in like now. Okay, I have said you plan like in a month. Now what we are having, we don't have readers. Like we know where we are situated. Let me use Abeokuta as an example. We have majorly secondary school users, and then retirees. That is when I was there. But if they are not coming, the action plan is how to reach out to get this. Ogun State is known to have the largest population of secondary schools. I was in a secondary school yesterday for a particular research, and I discovered these children are eager to read. They are eager to learn. And so, like they said, if Muhammad cannot come to the mountain should visit Muhammad. When I was young in Enugu State, there was a mobile library. And so we can reach out to the secondary schools, you know, and then through their programs, secondary schools, they have a lot of activity, cultural days, this, Yoruba Day, this. Let's reach out. We all are aware, even in the States. The first thing I think now we have to do is reaching out, either to reach out to the leaders, either to reach out to the secondary schools. Then let's plan. Okay, first quarter, this is who we are reaching out, and let's attach financial implication, and let's seek for, because money will need money, especially now we have fuel problem. So I believe planning, training, and others, and with passion, we will recapture our relevance back. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Dr. Giwa. Is he still on the line? Okay. Because I said I posted it. Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm with you.
I think it's okay.
All right. Are you there now? I asked the question the other time. I posted something to you that what, as the leader of the NLA chapter, yes, NLA public libraries national, please, what are the plans, especially for as generally, because I know that there's no how we have just like we have specific need of each library, but there is one being a leader that is general to all of them. If I may ask, I want to believe that you know what is general to all of them now. Be the leader. What do you think it is, and what that problem is, and how can we address it?
If I may say, we cannot achieve anything without is key. Most of the libraries are under governmental control. They are embedded in the civil service structure. And that means that we go through bureaucracy. No matter how beautiful your goals are, no matter how beautiful your targets are, if you backing, institutional backing from the civil service, you may not attain them. The little I was able to achieve in the few was because I had a passionate commissioner of education who was also interested in building the library. If you don't have such people, you can't make any progress. So that is it. But infrastructure.
So are you saying now that until we have such, like public library can move on? Are you hearing me?
I can hear you now.
Yes, because I believe that if we are thinking, we are saying that until we look at, sorry for saying this and for taking us back, as we're looking at until we get it done from the government, we may not get anywhere. As an individual in my little space, what do I need and how can I go about it? Let me give an instance. Like Mr. Itayo said, I have a training, for instance, on Canvas. Let me just use as an example. I've been trained, and after the training, how do you know the training can be, okay, I did it online myself or through a collaboration with a particular organization or whatever, or paid personal, or through my boss in the my director in my library. How do I think until we start showcasing ourselves, because we don't showcase ourselves, the government will not see us. It is when we start making noise. It is that noise that they will see. The community ourselves will be able to tell the government this is what is happening. If you are looking at it, that we want to, until we get something done from the government, we will not get anything. Let's affect the government, the community sending the information out there for us. They are the one that will make that noise for us, not we making it, because most of our governors, they are not interested. What if I don't have a commissioner who is interested in the life?
Okay. Dr. Taiwo, thank you very much. I know you are not putting my chairman on a very hot seat. That's not the intention. So since we belong to the same committee, we're going to work on some of these things. We've noted some of the action plans, and we've also written some of these things down. We believe that we can push this forward. So Dr. Taiwo, thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Taiwo and Mr. Rufus. Why am I saying Rufus Giwa? Oh my God. Oh God, please just forgive me. So I think it's Vincent, Abi.
It's Vincent.
Aha, Mr. Vincent, is it doctor, so that I don't bridge any gap?
I am not a doctor. No, I'm not a doctor.
Why are you calling me professor then?
Because you are one.
Well, I am a professor of practice, but so I really want to thank everybody. But before we go, I've asked, I actually invited Victoria Koje, doctor, to be part of this discussion, and she promised to come. So immediately I saw her, I said, I've sent a private message to her. I don't know whether she wants to say anything. If she wants to do so, I would like her to unmute herself. You are not under the gun to say anything, but if you want to, I plead that you should unmute, and then like 1 or 2 words, even if it was to thank, to welcome and to say something to us. The reason why I'm saying she should say something to us is she is one of our biggest leaders in Africa in this profession. And she sits at a very, very, very high level of IFLA. And there's so many things she's seen that many of us have never seen and may never see. And that's why I invited her. And she said she will be part of it, but I didn't ask whether she wants to say something. Just like Mr. Giwa also invited the chairman. And well, finally the chairman talked. So I don't know whether Victoria would like to speak.
Hello.
If not, okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, colleagues. It's nice to be with you this afternoon. I really enjoyed the presentations and the discussions, and I want to wish you well. This is, for me, something like a never-ending discussion. It's something that we will always talk about. I listened to not everything because I came in a bit late because I had a lecture, but I want to say that as librarians, as public librarians, we must begin to change our mindsets.
Exactly. Attitude.
And it is only when we change our attitude, our mindset, that we can achieve a lot.
Many times I hear librarians in public libraries complain that government is not doing that, government is not doing this, there's not enough money, they are not paying us any attention. I dare say, and I always say to such librarians, the government is not giving you money, the government is not paying you attention because you are not worth the attention of government. That's just the truth. What is your product? What do you bring to the table? If you have no product, if you do not bring anything of value to the table, I'm sorry, there's no government that will give you money. Even if I were to be made a governor today, even as a librarian, if you have no product, I will not waste my money on you because we have competing interests. There are many sectors that need money. Health sector. It's not about the cliches, information is power, knowledge is power, and all of those that librarians say. Until we begin to demonstrate that we actually have power, nobody will take us seriously. I dare say that it is because we have nothing to bring to the table. That is why government does not pay us any attention. I heard someone talking about the bureaucratic process. We do not have enough time. I can tell you that I have been in government, I have experienced bureaucracy, but it doesn't stop you from having results. It doesn't stop you from bringing products to the table. It depends on how motivated you are. It depends on how much passion you have, and it depends on how much skills you also have. If you do not have all of these and more, I'm sorry, your library will continue to experience little or no budgets and nothing will go on in your library. Your staff will be demotivated and nothing will happen. The country will not collapse because they didn't give your library a good budget. It will not. So let us focus on ourselves. What are we doing in our little corners? How can we light that little candle in our corners? What do we bring to the table? Until we are able to answer those questions, and until we are able to come with tangible results, I will just say, not to discourage you, but to tell you the truth, that nothing will happen. You will not get a budget. It's as simple as that. Nobody throws water into a basket. Nobody does that. No responsible government will put money into the hands of someone who is unproductive, who is always complaining, who has no ideas, who cannot think out of the box, who cannot be creative, even without budgets. This is just all I have to say for now. I'm sorry, I need to go back to my class and continue my lectures. I wish you good luck. Congratulations. This is the beginning of the discussions. I hope that we continue to discuss all of these issues with time, but much more importantly, I hope that we learn from the discussions and we do what we are expected to do. Thank you very much, Mr. Tayo. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you very, very much. Let's put our hands together, everybody, for Dr. Victoria Okogie. Thank you very much. We're very grateful for those kind words and words of advice. Those are realities, and those are, I mean, what she said is exactly what's been mentioned. And then her coming from that level, you know, who is able to see some of these things that we're talking about. I think we need to take these things very serious. So, on a very final note, we will invite the director of the American Center in Abuja, Dr. Daniel Olu. So please give us closing remarks just to encourage everybody before we say bye-bye to everybody.
Hello, everyone. So like Samuel said, my name is Daniel. I work with the U.S. Embassy here in Abuja. Fortunately, Samuel happened to be my boss, has also been a mentor for so many years now. But most importantly, I want to thank every one of you. Everything has been said concerning this summit for today. And I believe we have learned from each other. We have taught each other, we have shared ideas, we've talked about best practices, and I believe we have also learned something new. I want to believe that if you are in this summit today, you are taking something new away from this summit. But most importantly for me, it's follow-up. What do we do next? What do we do from today? Are we going to implement all we have discussed? Are we going to do something about it, or we'll continue to fold our arms and keep complaining about government or resources? Are we going to develop ourselves and become more useful to not just our library, but our community? One thing that hasn't changed, especially in the Nigerian library space, is the users and the space. But over time, it has shown that the users usually change. But if you look at the mentalities, not just on librarians alone, but also on our users as well. What do they think about us? What do you think about your users? What do you think they need? How do we progress from here? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to sincerely appreciate every one of you. For those who have been able to speak or contribute to this program for today, I want to appreciate you dearly. And we hope that we'll continue to have this kind of conversation and engagement moving forward. Please, let it not end here. Let's have another summit again and let us know what you have done. Thank you, everyone, and it's good to see your beautiful faces. It's bye from me now. Samuel, over to you.
Very, very much for your words of encouragement. We appreciate the discussion. Please, can we have Mr. Giwa again? Where is he?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, so thank you very much for your help and for this partnership. We appreciate you. And we say, Lord, that at our meeting on that platform, we continue our conversation. And please let this not die. Thank you very much. We also want Dr. Mrs. Ajayi. Where is Dr. Mrs. Ajayi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought we wanted to see your face so that we can say a very nice goodbye to you. Where's your face?
I'll show my face now, sir. I can't. The host has disabled it.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. You cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
Don't worry, I will make sure I get that done. We have to show your face.
Okay, sir.
So where is it now? So to try and see if you can start it now.
Okay, sir. I've done that, sir. Yes, sir.
So, okay, somebody is saying, boy, you don't have enough in the office. So thank you very much for the special ways you've done this for us. We're very grateful. Finally, I want to thank the director of the library services in Lagos State. I don't know whether it's still on. Mr. Oyadipe, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Where is your place?
It's like I've been disconnected. You
You are
don't want
not
to see my face.
disconnected.
You don't want to see my face.
No, disconnected again. Live power, like basically, Okay, so let's have your final word. I've been looking for your name, but I can't see your name.
Okay. I really want to appreciate you in particular, Mr. Ayitayo, for your efforts, for making it possible to have this this summit. And I want to appeal to all the librarians to ensure that anytime Mr. Ayitayo come up with any of this program, then all of us should be ensure that we participate actively. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very, very much, everybody. We appreciate you. I'd like to say thank you once again, everybody from Kwara to Maiduguri to every part of Nigeria, Imo. And so people have been asking, how can we have American space in your location? Let me answer that question quickly. Currently, we are not taking new American spaces, because by the end of this year, we should be having like 20 something from about 18 or so that we have now. So we want to make sure that those ones are grounded. You said something?
28, sir.
So you have it 28. We are not hoping to have another one this year. When we want to, we'll let you know. But as it is, we have 28, and I'm telling you, we need to make sure that they are all grounded and able to function well. The other announcement I want to make is we will only be able to invite directly people who have signed up to receive updates about workshops and so on from us. We have sent the link to us. Please check the chat box. Let me see. I sent it. Oh my, so many people have even posted after that. You go to Public Library Summit 01, bit.ly, Public Library 1. It's where you should register as an individual. So once we have any training program, and I can tell you this, we have some plans to organize programs, training programs. So we'll be inviting people on that list. And as at the time before we started, we had about 147 or so. So if you are really interested, or any of your people are interested, public librarians, please register, and then we'll be able to move forward with it. We said we're going to close by 1, and here we have 20 minutes to 1. At least we've been able to save some time. So I want to thank everybody for coming. In particular, I want to thank all our directors who really made sure that all our American spaces are open for librarians to come in to use the space. Thank you, everybody. So from all of us here, I have Mrs. Folorunsho Jasper here, and I'm here, Samuel Ayitayo. Wish you a wonderful time. If you need a recording of this session, the session is recorded. We'll send the link to those people on that list. So if you are not on that list, you don't have any recording. No. I hope that is clear. So and once you get that link, if I were you, I just download, keep a copy, because if anything happens to that one, then you know you have a copy. So thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.